If you're Irish and you're on TikTok, then you've more than likely seen this guy exploring the country and documenting his migration to Ireland. Sterling Patterson is a metal drummer, teacher and fast rising TikTok creator from Vancouver, Canada, with a story that's strikingly similar to my own. In just a short space of time, he's managed to join a band, get a job and take in everything that his surroundings have had to offer. So I decided to reach out and ask him about his story and everything else I can think of. So without further ado, here's my interview with Sterling Patterson. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a very special guest, metalcore drummer, music teacher, expat, and fast-rising TikTok sensation, Mr. Sterling Patterson. My friend, is an absolute pleasure. How are you getting on?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Thank you for asking me out to hang out for a bit.
Oh, no problem, no problem, man. You know, our stories are so strangely familiar. You know, we both moved countries, we're both into rock and roll, and when I see your videos show up my feed, I had to reach out. So, I want to know everything about you, man. How you got into music, what brought you to my homeland, and so much more. But I think you're the first Sterling who I've ever met with that name. Is that a stage name, or are you actually
No,
Sterling
that's
Patterson?
my actual name. Funny enough, I've only met one other Sterling, and he was in my high school of all things. Funny enough,
Yeah.
and that's the only other Sterling I've ever met. Period.
It's-
Yeah. Just one sec. Sorry, my cat. Get out of
No,
here.
take your time.
There we go. Yeah, cat. Cats always. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that
man.
Sterling was like, yeah, that's my name. And yeah, no, I knew one other Sterling and we were the exact opposite. It was hilarious. He was like super tall, like jock kind of build, real like rap and kind of guy. And I'm
Hmm.
like this tiny little human being. Like I'm 5'6". I'm
Oh yeah.
small and I'm just like, yeah. I like metal and rock and shit. It was funny. It was really funny. Good guy though.
Yeah.
Um,
It's,
yeah.
what inspired you to get into drumming?
Um, okay, so when I was really young and I was like in my early teens, early mid-teens, and uh I didn't like sports. I wasn't too heavy into sports or anything.
Hmm.
And my mom was like, "You seem frustrated. You should go hit something." And I was like, "But I don't like contact sports." And she goes, "What about drums?" And I went, okay, cool. Drums sound fun, and we were living in like this apartment then, and we could put an acoustic drum set in there, and I tortured my neighbors for years off. I don't know how we didn't get kicked out.
Yeah.
Um,
I've
but
seen in one of your
I
videos that you have you had an old, like, you built a sound booth.
dude, that thing was savage. That was in my old apartment in North Vancouver, and oh God, I got one of my friends to help me who was a carpenter, and we took like the cheapest wood we could and built like a little 6 by 6 foot room, and then he helped me get the insulation, and then I got like kids playmat foam pads, and I just nailed them to the frame. But once, because he hated insulation, once he built a frame, he's like, "Have fun, I'm done." And I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, man,
So,
that's what you gotta do. It's rock and roll. I thought the
oh
other
yeah,
day, if I downloaded a PS2 emulator, got like MTV Music Generator, and then did a
holy,
song on that and recorded it to Audacity, then I have a free studio. I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do, man.
yeah, dude, that
Um,
PS2 gen, that's a deep cut. It's like sort of like
yeah,
PS1, like Parappa the Rapper kind of stuff.
absolutely, man. So, like, out
Yeah.
of all the many genres of rock and metal music, how did you end up
Uh,
on metalcore? You've been in a lot of
uh,
metalcore bands and stuff like.
Funny enough, I started more in prog metal.
Oh
I
yeah.
was really heavy into Tool. Like so many years I spent just learning Tool songs. And it's only about 5 years in when I was actually able to play a Tool song competently, and that took me months. And then after that, it was a snowball. But yeah, I was doing the prog thing for a few years, but then stylistically, as I kind of my own sort of drumming style started to come out, I just noticed that my whole style was like very metalcore without even
Yeah.
really trying. And then I was like, oh, there's a style of music for this. This is cool. And then after that, I got into pop punk and stuff from there. I was a real late bloomer into the pop punk scene, funny enough.
Nice. I did it
Yeah.
backwards. I got into Marilyn Manson. Antichrist Superstar was like my gateway album, and then I went backwards. I went into hard rock and the glam stuff and that. So like it's
Oh
interesting
man,
how it happens, man.
I love that album. That was yeah, same Antichrist. I think I was like 15 and bumping Antichrist Superstar. Like
Mm.
it's an old album now, but it still holds up so well.
Yeah, like it was old when I got it, but I because the internet wasn't the powerhouse it was, I thought it was new. I was like, yes, I got the new Manson album, man.
You get it off of LimeWire, like Marilyn Manson.exe.
Oh man, sorry, LimeWire, BearShare, WinMX, man. My computer came home with viruses. So it's fucking.
Yeah. Oh man, same. I remember just downloading all those old tunes and whatnot, and then I was using an old Mac at the time, so thankfully nobody had coded viruses yet for Mac, so I could just
Yeah.
download whatever I wanted. Nowadays, different story.
Oh, absolutely, man. Fucking, you've been in a lot of different bands, but I never hear you really name drop any of them bands in your reels. Can you tell me like what are the projects you were involved in Canada, and tell me about like your more
Oh,
recent band now.
yeah, okay, so geez, older projects. So the one that really kind of took off, we did as much as we could. We played for like 7 years together. Or
Wow.
maybe yeah, or no, sorry, 9 years. I think it was 9 years. Jesus. It was called Cosm, like yeah,
Awesome.
KOSM, like fucking Cos/Cosm from Bloodborne.
Hmm.
Um, oh
Nice.
yeah, it was a real like Tool, Mastodon, a bit of Gojira love child. And we did pretty decent in the local metal scene and just like ripping all the way up to like Alberta and whatnot, playing smaller metal festivals and yeah, we carried that on for quite a few years until everyone just kind of fizzled out and wanted to do their own thing a bit more, which was totally chill. It's all
Hmm.
amicable. We're still in a group chat together, still chatting.
Yeah.
Um, and then what else did I do? I did a couple tours, or did like one big tour and some couple small fill-ins with Two Shadows as well.
Nice.
Um, and they got really popular, doing their funny enough, taking the absolute piss and doing like the goths and ungothly places thing on TikTok. Because yeah, real Portlandia energy. Because yeah, they were more like motionless and white kind of metalcore.
Hmm.
That was where I got my first actual big dose of metalcore, was just jumping right in to like hang with them. And then we toured all the way up to Montreal, Canada, and back. And so big, huge stretch all the way through Canada playing
Wow.
shows. Um, and then yeah, like they got another touring guy, and then just cause like it's they the band was chaotic. It's a goth metal band. It's going to be incredibly chaotic. And I was like focusing really heavy into Cosm, so they just found other guys, and I'd fill in wherever. But no, I'm still tight with a couple of the dudes in there. Um, and what else? Just like I unfortunately I had to turn a tour down when I just moved here with Conquer Divide, potentially filling in for my friend Sam,
Hmm.
because she knew I just moved here and she's like, I have a Europe tour I might not be able to do, and I was like right in the middle of doing all the immigration stuff, and I'm like,
Fuck, man.
I can't. I can't. I actually can't. And it just, oh, it's the worst. It was a 6 week tour along Europe. Oh my God, playing with Conquer would have been sick. But yeah, so those are some of the like the bigger things I've done. I'm still small potatoes in the whole scheme of things, but um, and then right now, I have a pop rock pop punk band that's in Vancouver that I'll fly out and do a show with here and
Oh,
there.
that's cool.
Um, yeah, they're called Stories End. It's real like Paramore kind of
Oh,
like
cool.
yeah. Yeah, I love that band. It's we we worked really hard. It's gotten a little slower because I moved, so they've had to get a couple guys to depth, but it's kind of in that working point of like, let's gig out of town. And if we do 2 or 3 shows even on a weekend run, then you can fly down and hit that and then go home. We can do it again, you know?
Can you
Um,
guys still record music through the computers and stuff like that?
yeah, actually, we just are finishing 2 new singles right now. Um, the one of them's like a real with like My Chemical Romance, like 200 BPM, House of Wolves kind of like pop punk swing kind of thing. It's really sick. Um, and then yeah, so I have that band. That band's been my baby for a while. Slowed down, but we'll pick it up again. Everyone's pretty good. And then yeah, then I got into a metalcore band here, which is really Invent Animate North Lane kind of inspired.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, they're having a hard time finding drummers, as you know, in the Irish music scene. I was told constantly, it's like people need drummers, and then I just found them at random on a Facebook group, and I'm like, hey, you guys sound cool. You want to jam? And they're like, yeah, please.
Have you been having a wonderful time discovering all the shithole rehearsal session like spaces around Dublin?
So far, honestly, it's I'm definitely still in that like new city having fun. I haven't hit that
Nice.
quality bitterness yet. It'll get there though.
Oh man, like I did the band thing for a bit, but like I went to everywhere really. I went to the Troubadour, there's Dead Sound on the south side, but like the worst was over the Halfpenny Bridge. I don't know if it's still there, but you go over the Halfpenny Bridge and down a laneway there is a
Yeah.
rehearsal space, and you just to pass by all sorts of fucking crazy people like shooting drugs and all. It was
Oh, love
quite a
that.
time.
Love
um
that. Yeah, that's
yeah,
East Hastings in Vancouver. It's renowned for how bad it actually is there. So
fuck man.
yeah.
It's as an independent artist trying to make it in this
Mm.
musical landscape, what is it like for a musician of your type? Is it hard? Is it difficult? What is it like?
The game's changed a lot. Because I taught drums. I still teach drums.
Yeah.
And that's like I was doing it a lot in Vancouver. I was teaching almost 50 students in Vancouver.
Wow.
Um, yeah, yeah. It's good though. It was a lot of fun, but it was like my primary income. I wasn't doing anything else but that.
Yeah.
But it's that's kind of what I'm really hoping to do here is teach less a little bit, like just 2 3 days a week, and then just work into the scene and gig more. It would be
Yeah.
nicer. Um, but otherwise, the landscape's a lot harder. You have to be so creative. It's all about marketing yourself and like how many things can you sell? How many ways can you sell yourself? Um, because you look at bands now, like, since especially because, with all the bands that you really look at too, that,
Hmm.
that was like the last big era of actual rock stardom and money.
Yeah.
Uh, there's bands making tons of cash now still. Like, I mean, what, like people are chatting about what Sleep Token just selling out arenas. They're making cash. They're making lots of money.
Yeah.
But until you get to that tier, it is just a game of like, okay, like merch we can sell. Like you're seeing bands in merch booths selling coffee. They're doing cameos. They're
Yeah.
like, funny enough, I would say a a band that actually completely crushed it harder than anyone else. Periphery. Periphery has done so well with that
I have a
because
question actually. Sorry.
no one.
When bands are selling merch in Canada, was the venue taking a percentage of what you were selling?
N- Not on a smaller level, but the rickshaws. There's this place called the Rickshaw where it's like a 500, I think 500 to 1,000 somewhere in there, 500 to 1,000 capacity. And for some bigger touring acts, they started to do that.
Yeah.
There's a viral clip of Alpha Wolf actually. This was, I think, it was like Invent Animate, Alpha Wolf, and a couple other bands. They were playing that venue, and they were like, "Fuck this! They're taking a fucking cut. We'll see you guys out
Mm.
in the alleyway afterwards."
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's brutal. It's a 360 deal. It's insane. Like how many ways can we gouge, right?
it's crazy, and you know, metal, like, it's no secret, it's not selling like it used to. For venues to do that, I think it's pretty disgusting. You know,
Yeah,
even some of the bigger tier bands over here, it happens to them. I just think it's unreal, and I
yeah,
don't think a lot of people know that that happens either. But
hmm
crazy for me, like.
yeah,
So, so let's talk a bit about your image, man. You've got
yeah.
like a really cool image, and
Oh,
you
thank
know,
you.
I think it's I think it's fair to say that most people in their 30s or whatever, they kind of phase out of it, but you've leaned hard into it. And
Yeah.
I suppose what I want to ask is, how important is the image to your music and the person that is Sterling Patterson?
Well, like, I guess I'm always aggressively myself. I've always needed to aggressively be myself in any
Hmm.
capacity. Doesn't matter what I'm feeling, because like you said, my image, I've leaned into more androgynous looks. I've
Yeah,
done,
man.
I've had really masculine or like feminine style looks too. I've just kind of been like, what's the vibe? It doesn't take away from who I am.
Hmm.
And that being said, though, when it comes to like bands and selling images, you have to adjust things depending on how, because everyone perceives you differently off of a first
Yeah.
impression. So, I'm happy to just change it around. Like, for example, like the pop punk band, me being more gothic is not that look. So
Yeah.
I'm more of just tone down, just kind of rock and roll. And then say but with the metalcore band, I can be a little more myself, because it doesn't matter as much, because it's more of the metal thing.
Hmm.
Um and then same with the internet too. It's like when you put yourself out there, people will make an assumption based off that.
Yeah.
And so I've just kind of like I funny enough, I toned myself down a little bit on the internet. Um
Yeah.
just just because like people be mean.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But
Yeah,
as I've gotten older, like, I, you know, I sort of expect it at this point. Like, if somebody says something negative, I kind of expect it, and then I kind of picture what they're like.
yeah.
So it doesn't bother me anymore. But when I was younger, yeah, it would annoy me a little bit. But
Yeah, it definitely, it doesn't bother me. Like, more so, I
yeah.
just find it incredibly annoying. Because like for example, with all the like all the TikTok stuff I've been doing, just with me just doing little dumb vlogs and stuff, I
Hmm.
word filter a lot of the things that people will usually throw at me. Because not because like I'm like, oh no, my feelings, more so like it's just really fucking annoying to have to constantly delete all those comments all the time. So instead,
Hmm.
they go into my nice little net of word filters, and then I block them because I run my page like North Korea. So, uh,
It's, like, in the rock scene or whatever, it's fair to say no one would bat an eyelid at me or
nah,
you. It would just be normal. But, like, you've
yeah,
opened yourself up to TikTok as the general public who, some people are from Dublin and they might get it, but some people are from, I don't know, Cavan, and they've no point of reference. So they won't see,
yeah,
oh yeah, that's a rock and roll dude. They'll go, ooh, it's just a lad with long hair.
yeah.
Silly
Oh,
stuff.
totally. Somebody you're like, oh, yeah, no, you need to get a barber. Barbers, there's barbers in Dublin. And I was like, oh, cool, that's great. I don't care. Um, yeah, no, a lot of people, of course, throw out every type of slur imaginable and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
I've had tons of people call me gay, tons of people call me trans and stuff, and I'm like, well, last I checked, I got a dick and balls, and I'm married to a woman. So what can you stand on here, dude? So like, yeah,
I was writing a script for a documentary, and I was thinking, like, the dangers of
mm,
arena rock hair was like an idea I had. And I was thinking, if you have an image like this on a stage, you are a god, right? But if you walk
yeah,
down the street of Bagatelle or any dangerous area, whatever, you're a target.
yeah,
It's weird.
yeah,
but
yeah.
but it's until you reach that stage, people will get it if you're like 2 feet tall. It's
Real Gene Simmons kind of area, right?
yeah. It's tell me, what was the moment that led you up to saying, right, F this. I got to get out of Vancouver. I got to go to Ireland and start again. Walk me through
Yeah.
that.
So, oh yeah, that basically that was how to put it. So I met my wife in 2022, and we were we were just doing the dating thing, and then we moved in together, and then I was working at or teaching at two different stores. One place called Rufus Drum Shop, and the other one called Long and McQuaid. And my Rufus offered me full time with benefits and everything to teach there. So I was like,
Hmm.
that's a pretty sick deal for a musician. That never happens. So I took it, but the downside is when you when you go to a new location or try to add to a location for students, it's a very slow process. It
Yeah.
takes a long time to build clients. And Sarah had just moved in with me, and I went through like one of the most god awful financial periods I've ever been through. And she was so sweet and she covered more for groceries for us. She was like she
Yeah.
covered extra bills because I went from earning near 3,000 about yeah, just shy of like $3,000 a month to maybe pulling in like $1,200 a month.
Fuck.
And oh, it was crazy. And we we were really stressed. I had about 30 bucks, not even. I had not even enough to buy a 12 pack in Canada. And
Man.
I picked up like the cheapest six pack of coolers I could find. And I brought the drinks home, and Sarah and I just started bantering, and she's like, I never dealt with like this in Ireland. It's expensive there, but this is insane. Like I've never lived like this before.
Fuck,
And
man.
yeah, and I straight up was like, do you want to get married and leave Canada? Or and she was like, yeah, let's do it. And I'm like, cool, all right. And we started making marriage plans from there. Like,
Wow. Fucking hell.
yeah,
And like, what was the inspiration to start documenting it day by day on TikTok?
I create a creative outlet, and
Hmm.
I thought it was kind of fun because I've seen a lot of people do like daily vlogs and stuff, like the Casey Neistat kind of thing.
Yeah.
But uh, I've I always see a lot of things on like building stories. All the vloggers and everyone's so focused on storytelling.
Hmm.
And I was like, there's no bigger story than kind of documenting you eating shit for a whole year or two to figure out
Yeah.
your life and just and it also to me it's kind of inspiring just to be able to like say I'm a person from the outside can go like, wow, they went through everything. It shows completely everything. Um,
Yeah. Like
yeah, and then from there, it's like I like the idea of being like sort of the freedom to eventually, if I can ever monetize it, it's just the freedom to be able to do what you want, not be
yeah.
attached to one place. Yeah,
That yeah, when I seen your story, like I was like, just do it as me, because I was working. I was work.
literally.
I was working Monday to Saturday, and I was taking in money, but it was like it was gone before I got it, if you know what I mean. I'd bills, I'd
Yep,
rent, and everything just kept going up. And
yep.
I was given an opportunity. My girlfriend and her family
Mhm.
invited me to come here and start again, and I said, fuck it, why not?
Yeah, why not?
And
Right?
so, passport for the cat, pay off the last bit of bills, fucking
Uh,
the stress of the whole lot, man. It was
oh,
taking a. I don't think anybody knows the stress, except for maybe you, about taking a cat to a fucking airport and going through the machine. And oh man, like it was.
oh, it's
We
the worst.
we took Janie in the cabin, like
Yeah. Oh, but you brought her in the cabin too. That's good. Yeah,
yeah,
we
man,
we brought her through the cabin as well. It was, dude, it's a nightmare. It's just the paperwork you need to just
yeah,
bring an animal. It like versus just, oh, if you have a kid, oh, here's your passport, cool. But like, oh no, this indoor cat's gonna bring like rabies to the country. It's crazy.
I had so many fears of like because they made me take Janie out to go through the X-ray
Mhm.
machine, and I'm thinking, what if Janie jumps out of my arms and starts running around the airport like a lunatic? I'm like, oh God, so it's
No.
all of that. And then we had to fly to Paris and then take a
Mhm.
car drive all the way to the south. But it was some adventure. But
Oh my
no,
God,
it's
that's just to make sure she was able to fly.
yeah, yeah. It's yeah, I had to because there's no direct flight with that will allow you to take a cat to those. You've
Oh,
got
fair.
yeah, we got some weird off-brand airplane to go. It wasn't Aer Lingus or Ryanair. I can't remember what it was, but
Wild.
it was some adventure. It was some adventure. I haven't had a
That-
dairy milk bar or a bag of chips in like a year and a half now.
oh my God.
Yeah, that was one of the questions I didn't write down, but I'm glad I thought of it. You move here, and obviously creature comforts from home. What is the food and drink that you miss the most from Canada?
Oh, probably the food. Funny enough, I've said in a couple of videos, but I miss actually the craft beer scene in
Yeah,
Vancouver. Vancouver has a real passionate craft beer scene. Um, so that's definitely like something I really do miss the most. Otherwise, I've found a lot of the chocolate bars and stuff that like the chocolates or like other things from Canada, I've still found here. Like even and some of the brands are leaning into it, like ketchup chips. Like
yeah, man.
Canadians love ketchup chips, but we found ketchup chips and maple syrup and stuff, and that's there's not too much in the Canadian food area. I miss the craft beer more so.
Yeah. For me, it was cider. Like there's places around here, but it's hard to find like cider from home. But I found an Irish bar last month. Oh, thank fuck.
Yeah.
I went months without a beer, and I was like, oh yes, cider. Taste of home, man.
Nice.
It's, um,
Yeah, there's some good ciders in Vancouver. Yeah, especially like when you get to like the craft, the same thing. Like there's craft ciders. There was a where I lived in North Van. It's this place called Lower Lonsdale, and I was a 15-minute walk from like this big sort of center point where everything's going on. And there was this little industrial walk, about a 20-minute walk away, where there was like five different craft places, and including a
ooh,
gin distillery and a mead distillery, all
oh
there
my
in
God.
yeah, just like all within spitting distance. And Sarah and I would just, of course, we go there in the summer, just get completely lit. And she'd drink me under the table every time. I'd be like stumbling, and she's like, "I'm decently drunk now," and that's the Irish blood. That's that I can't do that.
Yeah, over here they'll have like maybe max two, three beers and go, wow, that's wild. And I'm thinking 6 to 8 is probably my limit.
Yeah, you guys are
Nah,
built different, man. I
yeah.
can't do that shit.
Like we don't think about it, but as soon as you step outside
Mm.
the country, suddenly what we do is it's kind of mental. Like we throw drink into us like it's a fucking sport. It's I don't do it
It's
too much now that
compulsive.
I'm in my 30s, but yeah, definitely drink culture.
Yeah.
I miss it and I don't, if that makes sense.
It's
So,
I get it because it's such a social thing. So there's a little bit of pressure to take part in it. You're almost Sarah said that a couple times too. She's like, I have trouble trusting people who don't want to have a drink sometimes. Um,
yeah. Well,
very much that like. Oh,
you'll
go on.
figure a
Sorry.
lot out about, sorry, man. You'll figure a lot out about people over a few drinks, I suppose, the personalities like and such.
Yeah. No, it's
Um,
been overall really good people though. Everyone, the all the Irish are very nice. They're all very sweet. Thus far, everyone's been really kind. The only
mhm.
actual gobshites are like the little faceless accounts that say "go home" and I go block. That's about it, really.
Well, like that's the thing. Like, I mean, Ireland is facing an immigration crisis, right? But I feel
Mhm,
that we need to make like a comparison here because like you've come over and you've integrated. You have a lot to offer.
mhm,
You've gotten a job, you've integrated, you want to explore. But
mhm.
there's people coming in who, you know, wouldn't, I suppose, be they're not going
They're
to integrate,
taking
you
they're
know?
taking advantage and they're not. Yeah, they're not
Yeah.
integrating. No, I've yeah, I've seen that. I dealt with it
So
back home.
I think no matter what color you are, we're always going to need doctors, nurses, all that
Mm,
from all over the world.
yeah,
That's
absolutely.
And I think there's a big misconception. I think when people say they don't want immigration, that they
Hmm.
they don't want the undocumented in. I think, the people who they fear
Yeah,
might cause harm, and that's
yeah.
that's what it's about, I think. But when
Hmm.
people open their mouth and take it at face value, they think automatically, oh, they hate everyone, you know. But
Yeah, and it makes I can understand where people are coming from because like I dealt with it back home too because
yeah,
Canada had a real mass immigration happen over 2023, 2024.
yeah,
We got like a million people in a year. It
hmm
was in bonkers, and of course our prices skyrocketed. Um, and that being said, like Canadians we're still, we're always open, but
hmm
there's this underlying of resentment that
yeah,
builds, and it makes people really bitter and lash out because they're struggling. It's like, and it's a natural response to when someone's back is against the wall.
hmm like like myself. I mean, you've come over on your own resources, and you have a family who's taken you in, right? Same as
Yeah,
myself, and
yeah.
you've gotten yourself back on your feet. So I mean, it's what's the problem, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
um,
I do see like the housing crisis. I do see how
yeah,
hard it is. And like that's even right now. Like I'm teaching drums again, but it's like I said, it's very slow to get students. And then same thing with just to kind of get into the scene and gig
hmm
and depth. I worked the Vancouver scene for a decade and a half, and that's how I got a lot of those gigs. And I'm new here, so I'm looking for a
yeah,
second job in the meantime. I'll get there, but I have to eat a little bit of shit. That's par for
that's
the
it, man.
course.
That's it. Um, I have a somewhat of a loaded question. Um,
Yeah.
you don't have to answer it if it's fine. But in some of your videos, even now, I've noticed you're wearing a satanic cross, and I'm
Oh,
wondering what got you into that religion, and I suppose what are some of the biggest misconceptions about Satanism that
oh, funny enough, because I'm not really. It sounds super lame. We're gonna sound so lame. I just like all the sigils and shit. I just think they're cool. Like literally, it's I'm king bullshitter where I just like the authentic or not the like the alternative gothic look. I just think all that shit's cool.
here's me
Literally.
here's me thinking you were a practicing Satanist. But it's good that I asked that all the same as well, because I mean, I'm probably not the only one who clocked that symbol. I was like, gotta ask
Oh yeah,
about it.
anytime. I'm walking it I'm wearing it's like I have sulfur right there. Like
Yeah,
it's dancing around. Everyone's like, "Damn, you're a Satanist." I mean, Sarah's got her purse with like a full like pentagram on it too. It's like a pink kill star purse with a pentagram on it.
yeah.
And she's got it too. She's like, "Oh, there's a Satanist," and we're just like, "Yeah, okay, cool. It's cool, cool, bro." Um,
You just
we're
wear it because it looks cool, really.
Yeah, like literally as simple as that. I've always just kind of liked I've liked that style. I watch a lot of horror movies.
hmm
I'm very seasoned. I like spooky things. And so just all that sort of macabre kind of stuff. I like all of it. So I was like, it just made sense for wearing it. Even like this tattoo it's like Aleister Crowley. This is inspired by one of Aleister Crowley's cards. It's yeah,
Nice, man. Nice.
I'm a king faker basically.
No, no, not at all. We all kind of pick things that we want now and again. So, where can people find you on the internet if we're looking?
Oh
Um,
gosh. Let's see. The vlog handle is Sterling in Ireland. And that's just on all the things. And then the drum stuff right now at least is Sterling's End because my band Stories End, so I just took the end from that.
that's cool.
Um, yeah, yeah, Sterling's End and Sterling in Ireland. Very original.
Nice. And any band shout outs you want to give? I can stick in the description or
Oh, band shout outs. Who's sick right now? Oh, uh,
your bands,
the
man.
Risen Dread. The Risen Dread. They're playing on May 28th in Dublin. The bassist is I know, much like you, the bassist reached out to me and we became really fast friends. He's an absolute
Nice.
sweetheart and his band is really sick. It's extreme metal, but it's really good.
Awesome, man.
Um,
Awesome.
so yeah, Risen Dread. Those guys are dope.
Cool. What about your projects? Is there any links I can put in as
Oh
well?
yes. Yeah. Yeah, Stories End, my pop rock band. I can link you for that after. And then
Hell yeah, man.
we haven't posted anything, but Elysium is the metalcore band. We're like really deep into finishing up the first single to get it posted and stuff. So it's
Oh,
getting there.
sick. I can't wait. Well, man, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you and getting to know you. And
Dude,
yeah,
same.
soon as I'm set up here properly, we go have a beer. Do it
Yeah,
properly.
exactly. No, well, same. It's like once everything's settled, we'll figure it out. We'll be having pints. So
Hell
good
yeah,
to
man.
chat, dude.
You too, man. All right. Take care.
All right. Take care. See you soon.